Okay.
Yeah, it's a little dark.
Hi there, and welcome to I believe it's the 10th official installment episode of the Sage Running Podcast. It's New Year's Eve, sorry. Apologize for the backdrop, it's a little dark in here. For the new year, we're gonna get a new backdrop space, I promise, at some point. But we're drinking an Avery Brewing Vanilla Bean Stout. Very delicious stout, one of Sandy's favorites, Avery Brewing, Boulder, Colorado. And I just thought we'd do a quick podcast this end of the year kind of summary and kind of celebrate Sandy's great year, as well as things she learned through training, her great progression this year, as well as consistency in racing. Things that I learned and kind of need to work on. I kind of reflected on my season in one of my YouTube videos, if you're listening into the podcast already, so we won't talk about my races so much, but things I want to apply to 2017 I think will be the key. But I think we learn a lot from Sandy, so.
Starting off New Year's Eve with a heavy beer, nothing can go wrong here. It'll be fun.
Not at all. Cheers, babe.
Cheers.
Alright, so quick rundown of Sandy's great season.
It wasn't super great, but I was really happy with it.
Well, let's put it in perspective. You were coming off major Achilles tendon surgery last May, I believe. Then you had to recover through the end of 2015. And then it wasn't till this winter that you were able to actually start running again.
It was a long recovery, and I was hoping to train again last winter. I wasn't able to start training consistently again till maybe the end of last March, maybe April. So it took a lot longer than expected to come back.
Yeah, but then your first race back, you focused more on sub-ultra distances, anywhere from 12 miles to up to the marathon, 50K. Well, you did do that one ultra. And you started off the season at the Dirty 30 out here in Golden, Colorado. As part of the Dirty 30 event, it was about a half marathon mountain race at altitude.
It was 12 miles.
12 miles.
Yeah, and that was June. So, yeah, because of the late training start, my first race was until June. So
yes, and
short season, but
won that. Did very well in that race. And that's a high altitude push up in the hills up there, 8,000, 9,000 feet of altitude, rolling hills. Yeah. It's the closest kind of local race that we have. And then after that, though, you transitioned right into skyrunning. You went to Silverton, Colorado for the Kendall Mountain Run.
No, it was actually Broken Arrow first.
Selling you short already. So it was the week before Western States out in Squaw Valley. You did the Broken Arrow skyrunning race on the ski slopes of Squaw.
Yeah, that was
won that race as well. Tell us a little bit about how that one, the elevation gain and.
Yeah, well, that one it was really suitable for me. But there's altitude there, but it's kind of still like running in Boulder. You only went up to 8,000 feet. But that was a fun course, and there's a lot of times on that course where there's snow and you see a downhill go straight down snow, and everyone's kind of well, we're sliding on our butt, and so that made it a lot of fun. I know there was some technical difficulties with the new course and people getting lost in the 50K, but I know they're gonna make that way better this upcoming year. But it was really fun, and I think I just kind of ended up progressing from there. Yeah,
great win there. Then on to Kendall Mountain Run in July, Silverton, Colorado. Straight mountain push up a kind of a fire road up one of the mountains in town up to 12,000 feet of altitude, then straight back down. Really competitive field there. You had a really close finish with some top runners, Emily Forsberg, international runners, find some people that transitioned from the road and track backgrounds.
Yeah, that one was fun too. That one wasn't a goal race, and the week before, if you remember, we were in Ohio, which was not a great idea going up to 13,000 feet a week later. But again, that was a really awesome race, but I think that was one of my most painful races of the year. You get to the top, you work really hard, and then you go straight back down on this Jeep road that's fast and really runnable, but at the same time it's rocky and it's steep, and so your quads just hurt the entire time, and you just go, like, I was going down really recklessly, as I'm sure a lot of the top people were, just about anyone was, and so it was a very, very painful descent. And the last half mile is flat or a slight uphill, so you do like this really steep downhill, and then it's flat, and it's the last half mile is the most pain I've ever been in a race. But it's good to push yourself that hard every now and then and know like how much pain you can put yourself in.
Yeah, some lactic acid on these shorter races.
Yeah.
Then after that, you transitioned right into the one ultra you did, the Flagstaff skyrunning, Flagstaff skyrunning race, which is also high altitude pushing.
Oh, you're talking about the ultra.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh no, sorry, it was a 39K. I just realized the distance.
Yeah, I did do Audio Power Forward before that.
I'm forgetting every race that Sandy did. It's pretty bad.
And that was like the one race this year that I did that was a total, I don't want to say disaster, but it was definitely a disaster.
Yeah.
I was puking up like halfway. I was puking halfway through.
Stomach issues.
Never good, even in a 50K. Just really bad stomach issues. But I figured out the stomach issues and when they were happening after that. But I think I met one of my biggest goals of the year during that race, because I went into my race season saying, if I have a really bad race, I'm going to take a lesson from Sage and just take it as a learning experience and then be a fun person to have a beer with after anyway. And so I feel like I accomplished that goal. I wasn't happy that I was puking halfway through, but I had a really good attitude about it, and it was a really great learning experience, and I was very happy that I was still able to push myself and finish, even though I ended up really far back in the field.
Yeah, well, that's definitely, I mean, I can relate to that. It's, when you have these really high goals and expectations and you're considered to be kind of, you know, you're looking for a podium spot, you're looking to win the race, and then things go terribly wrong, 180 degrees, it's hard not to throw in the towel, and you know, when you're going exponentially backwards in the race, and you know, it takes all the willpower you have just to finish. So it is an admirable thing to do, though.
Yeah, I
so
feel
proud of you
like
for
every
finishing
now
there.
and then that you just suck it up and finish, no matter how much it hurts or how long it takes you, because I felt like I was walking backwards.
Yeah. Okay, and then after that, Flagstaff, went to Flagstaff for the skyrunning race. Very competitive race. Alicia Vargo won that race, but it was a really tight finish between you top three. You were third there. Just a matter of within 5 minutes, 3 minutes.
I was 3 minutes behind Alicia.
So really
so
close
less than that
race.
behind second. Yeah.
Yeah,
And
that
then
was high
fourth was
altitude
only
ski.
like 2 minutes behind me.
Yeah, it was a really close competitive. With competitive races, you look at the density of the top finishers, and if there's only a couple minutes separating them, then you know, that's a pretty good sign. It's a pretty competitive race. Plus, you were running fast. If you look at the Strava data, you could just tell, like, you know, you guys were moving on those ski slopes, which are very, very steep, and you're at a very high altitude, up to 11,000, 12,000 feet, I think.
Yeah, that's probably like the best part of the race for me, though. And that race, like, again, was a good learning experience. Didn't pace myself well because I didn't give myself enough credit at the beginning, started off too slow, and I just didn't have enough time to make up at the end. But I don't know, just learning. And then it like really paid off for the next race.
Yeah.
The Moab Marathon, I started off way harder. Well, I still didn't give myself enough credit at the beginning of the race and started way back in the pack, but I decided to move up really quickly, and I learned I could push myself really hard for quite a long time.
Yeah, that was another really competitive race, competitive field. USATF National Trail Marathon Championship, Moab Trail Marathon. It's about 4,000 feet of climbing, but it's it has some super technical bits in the rocks where you're kind of,
that was
there's some altitude pushes too. You're at 4,000 feet. But yeah, you did well. There's also those Jeep roads. There's kind of sandy, and it's more of a road runner's part, but then the technical parts I'm sure you kind of gain ground on. And the big climb at mile 16, there's like a 1.5 mile long climb. You said you passed some people there.
Yeah.
So
that course is exciting. I'm sure you could say the same too. Like, I didn't think I was gonna like the course after coming from mountain running, but the technical parts I loved. It was like an obstacle course, and you had to use your hands to get off some of the rocks. It was a blast, but I think that's part of the reason I did so well. There's a lot of fast road runners, but I think one thing I'm good at is holding my own on technical stuff, so the course suited me in that way.
Yeah, and it was a really tight finish too.
Yeah, and that race I was happy with, because for both of us, it wasn't a goal race. We didn't taper for it. I ran a lot the week before, and then going into it, my taper was running 10 miles a day, basically, the whole week before. Maybe the day before I only ran like 4 or 5 miles, but it was a good confidence booster to run on tired legs and still place pretty well in USATF championship race.
Yeah, 5th place there with a really close finish to 4th and 3rd, and actually the whole top 6 I think were really close if you look at the results.
Yeah, it was a great field to be part of.
Yeah, a lot of people from Boulder that we knew that were in the race. Megan Kimmel's a legend in skyrunning, mountain running internationally.
Yeah, and then Addie, who won
from Boulder,
2:30 something marathon.
I think she's running around 2:30.
I'm hopefully not selling her short, but she's pretty awesome. And she won the U.S. Mountain Championship race this year. And then Kelly Wolk came in 3rd, and I don't know, I feel like she's not as well known, but she won the Flagstaff Ultra Sky Race, and then she did Speed Goat, and she's just been killing it lately, and I think we're going to see a lot more of her in 2017, and I think she's going to do more Sky Races, but Kelly's strong, and she's young, so I'm excited to see what she's going to do.
Yeah, I know women's, at least, from what we've seen, women's mountain ultra trail running has gotten a lot more competitive in the last couple of years.
Even this year, like compared to
density.
last year, like all the races I did, like looking at the times from previous years to this year, the top 5 to 10 women were all like finishing way closer together than in past years, and I think in most races I did too, like we were all under the course record time from like previous years or really close to it. So it's an exciting time in women's mountain running.
Yeah, and then fast forward to your last race of the season, North Face 50-mile endurance challenge. Big step up from doing marathons to going back to ultras, especially for you, and knowing you like the really steep mountain stuff, you like the really technical trails, North Face and Marin Headlands. The course even had more fire roads this year, and it wasn't muddy, so it was more of it required probably more speed this year than I've ever seen it in the last 5 years require speed. But still 10,000 feet of climbing, 49 miles. And you ran super well there, 5th place or 6th place. Again, a really, really close finish between, you were, 4 or 5 minutes off of making the podium, 3rd place. I think about maybe 6 minutes. I don't want to sell the...
Yeah, I want to say Ruth, who's 3rd, finished around 7:20.
Yeah, but still when you're looking at margins of 5 minutes or 6 minutes even, that's relatively close between 3rd and 6th place in a race that's 50 miles long. So another really solid performance. And your energy felt pretty good, steady all day there. You made up a lot of ground, passed some people. Yeah,
my energy did stay good. I do feel like maybe the last little bit, like I should have taken one more gel. But yeah, I started off, I didn't start off conservatively, even though like I was probably starting off in like 15th place. It was a push from the start, but I felt like really strong the whole time. And that's the one thing I knew going in beforehand. I didn't have the speed, but I feel like I'm someone who naturally has a lot of leg strength, and so even if I get tired at the end of the race, I know my legs are still to hold up pretty well, and I use that to my advantage.
Perfect. Yeah. So that's the wrap up of Sandi's season. Let's talk about your training, how you applied. We learn a lot through our own training. I've made a lot of mistakes this year, especially, it seems like.
But for the North Face, you did say like your hips held up a lot better because you've been doing the core strength. So that worked.
Hip
and
routine.
I also want to
check it out on Sandi's YouTube channel.
And I also wanted to like acknowledge that for the North Face, you actually mapped out your training, and I think that helped you go into it feeling good. As you knew, like a few weeks before the race, I told you I didn't think you were doing enough, but
lazy.
But what you did do well is mapping out your workouts and your long runs, and so what you've done in previous races is you've done like 3 hard long efforts in a row. So before the Run Rabbit Run, you did a long run. 2 days later, you did like a 6-hour bike race. 2 days later, you did another long run.
That was a mistake.
And this is just 2 weeks before Run Rabbit Run. So then, of course, you went into Run Rabbit Run, and your legs are already tired because you were overtrained. So there's different ways to overtrain. Sometimes it's too much mileage, sometimes too many hard efforts.
And too much hard vertical, too, I think, for me.
Yeah, so...
Yeah.
So for the North Face, you did train smarter.
My legs felt pretty good, yeah.
You just needed more easy miles and easy vert, and I think you would have nailed it.
Yeah, I think if you look, I don't know what Zach Miller does because he's not on Strava, but I know what Hayden Yeah, I know it. The top guys and gals, for that matter, training in the sport in the U.S., from what I've seen, they're putting in 3 hours a day of running, just solid running, 3 hours a day. And if you're doing a race with 10,000 feet of climbing, 15,000 feet of climbing, if you want to be in contention for the win, you're probably going to have to put in some 15,000 to 20,000 feet of climbing weeks. And we know, a guy like Zach Miller lives in Bar Camp. He's probably running a lot of vertical right now. If he's probably snowshoeing for hours and hours each day, whereas I've been a little bit lazy. A lot of people on my YouTube channel I know have criticized that I overtrain, because I have overtrained, I think, but at the same time I think I've undertrained a lot, and until you're training at 3 hours a day to be at the top end level, I think it's going to be hard to compete, because it's the leg strength and getting the nutrition dialed, and mainly just the vertical. The quad pounding of those fire roads hurt at Marin when you're running 6-minute mile pace, and that's something that you did a lot, though. I saw if you look at the duration of training, if you look at the vertical, you were putting in more vertical. You were putting in targeted hill repeat workouts. Up the tempo efforts you were doing, and then you were doing all the strength training, the hip mobility exercises, the core strength, sometimes for 30 minutes, 60 minutes a day. After you run already, you're training your core strength. So you're doing a lot of abs, you're doing a lot of hip exercises, mobility exercises, stretching, or active stretching, sort of. You could talk about it.
Well, I gotta say, I was doing a lot. I was training a lot of hours per week, but I knew I was feeling really good.
Yeah.
Even if I was running a couple hours a day, or I could go do a long run, and a few hours later, I wouldn't be tired at all, or feeling like I needed just to lay on the couch and do nothing. I felt good. And so I knew I wasn't doing too much, even though it looked like a lot of volume. But I also want to say, I was doing a lot of vertical, but I knew how to run uphill easy. And I feel not everyone always has the patience to do that, because it does take patience. It takes a lot of time, especially in the mountains. I'm learning sometimes technical trail to commit to running easy and not just try to get a run done with. So I think that helped me a lot, truly being able to take my easy days easy. I feel like that's a skill more people have to learn.
Easy vertical. I learned that years ago. I still make the same mistake, though, of just trying to do these long runs where I run uphill really, really hard, and it tires my legs out more than my heart and lungs. Because your heart and lungs could take a beating, but the muscle fibers in the legs, I think they get exhausted. And, I realize a lot of people listening into the podcast, watching a YouTube video, you probably don't have... Sorry, my throat. Don't make fun.
Sorry.
You probably don't have... I had a tickle in my throat. It's been a long day. You probably don't have... you might only have an hour a day to train. You might only have... that's not even every day. You have work obligations, family obligations. We realize a lot of people don't have the luxury to train like we do. We've been very, very fortunate to have your support on Sage Running, sponsorship support to be able to do this. So I think, my goal going into 2017 is to really push the envelope now. I'm at the age where it's like, okay, you need to start training 3 hours a day and start being really serious, because the sport's getting very competitive at the top end. And if you want to compete for the win at a race like UTMB, you got to put in the work. You got to put in the vertical, and your legs better be really freaking strong, and you better dial that nutrition in, or you're going to be screwed.
That, and you have to know your body and know how you're feeling. Because that attitude can push a lot of people over the edge.
A lot of people overtrain.
But if you know what it feels like to feel good, then you're okay. And I think my Achilles surgery gave me the gift of knowing what it truly feels like to feel good and to have energy. And that's part of the reason why I knew when I was pushing the edge and when I was doing just the right amount. And that's something I think you need to look at too, is just know when you're feeling good and when you can do more and when it's time to dial it back. And that's sometimes hard to do.
From Sandi. She's the mastermind behind Sage Running. I'm going to actually plug our business real quick. We're doing a sale. From now until January 2nd, you could get $2 off any of our training plans. That's 5K, 10K plan all the way up to the 100K, 100 mile plan. $2 off if you enter the code New Year 17. That's all caps, one word, New Year 17. Just a plug there.
You gotta publish this podcast fast. It's January 31st.
Publishing it tonight, New Year's Eve. So yeah, Sandy's had an amazing year. You also, I mean, your diet's been really on par in terms of race day nutrition, but also just doing all the little things, eating a lot of antioxidant-rich fruits and vegetables and whole grains mainly.
Tons and tons of fruits and veggies all day long.
Yeah, and even I've noticed after like a long run, if you take in a lot of antioxidants, a lot of berries, it seems to help.
Ooh, can I touch on that really quick?
Yes,
so,
certainly.
Nutrition nerds out there, or those who like to look up some research. So it was once a misconception that eating a lot of berries after intense workouts, whether running or lifting weights, could actually hurt your body's adaptions. And that was basically founded on the fact that they tested out like vitamin C supplements after workouts, and they found that taking supplements like vitamin C and some other ones too actually hurt your body's adaptation. So yeah, you would feel better after, but then your body wasn't actually getting as strong as it could once it recovered, which isn't good because you want your body to recover and get stronger after a hard effort or a run, right? So then that misconception was taken over, since berries and other fruit has a lot of antioxidants in it, that it would hurt your body's adaptations as well. But that's not true, and that's because while our bodies don't always know how to handle vitamins in these crazy forms like supplements, like getting all these antioxidants in at once, our bodies know how to handle whole foods really, really well. And so if you have like a smoothie after a run, your body's going to recover really fast, or much faster than it would otherwise, and still make all those great adaptations you want to actually get stronger from the effort you put in. So
yeah. Smoothies with fruit, especially berries.
Yeah.
I think we eat a lot of blueberries and blackberries.
Yeah.
Strawberries, raspberries, just frozen fruit and bananas mixed in with a little almond milk or soy milk or something like that.
And going further into that, personally, I will say that after every race I've done and I've had a smoothie or a bunch of strawberries or blueberries after, I felt great the day after and the week after. If I didn't do that, I felt like crap for at least like 3 to 4 days after, and I was sore. Maybe that's just a placebo effect, but I don't think it is. You can test it out yourself. So just tip.
It's good to get calories in as soon as you finish a long run or long race.
Yeah, for
some
sure.
calories are better than others, obviously, but the antioxidants, the carbohydrates, unrefined carbohydrates from whole fruits seem to work wonders. And then, you know, if you have anything else, you're probably mixing in at least a little bit of protein as well, and fat and all those other things.
Yeah.
I mean, you eat a full meal.
I feel like I could go into more than that, but I won't. But
it's not a nutrition
there was like
podcast.
Another like really bad misconception that like not eating anything after a run helps your body fat adapt another way, but it is actually found to be really bad after doing more scientific
Well,
studies
after a run, definitely.
You definitely want
before a run. You know,
before a run's
fasting.
different, but not eating after a run. If you look at research really closely and seeing how it's done, you want to make sure you eat something after a run.
Yes,
like this
basic recovery.
Don't
there.
listen to people who say don't eat after a run. It's not good.
I mean, if you want to burn a higher percentage of fat during your run, you go into a run, long run fasted, or you don't take in as many carbohydrates. But you know, so what? If you're burning a higher percentage of fat at an effort, you know, I see a lot of top East African guys who run under 210 in the marathon. They eat a pretty high carb diet, and they take in carbohydrates, I'm pretty sure, during their run. Actually, my teammate at Hanson's Brooks, Brian Sell, he was a 210 marathoner. He got 4th at Boston. Those guys used to drink Red Bull and Coke during races, which I wouldn't necessarily recommend highly refined sugar carbs, but I just want to throw it out there that guys running 210 in the marathon are taking in carbohydrates during their race. They're not going without just, you know, burning fat. You could definitely run a marathon burning fat, but it's not going to be at your maximum intensity because the way the energy pathways are designed, you're just not going to be running at a really high intensity when you're burning fat. You could burn a higher percentage of fat if you're fat adapted, that's for sure, but you know, it doesn't mean it's going to make your overall pace much faster necessarily. So we could go down a whole rabbit hole of nutrition.
We kind of
so
got off subject.
Yeah, I'm not talking about your
One more thing is saying there's tons of bad information on the internet. And sometimes people talking on podcasts are one of those bad sources of nutrition information. I think our information is great.
Take our advice with a grain of salt. We're not registered dietitians. We're not doctors. Consult your doctor before trying anything new.
But my advice is to please do your research. And that's not just reading some
study,
some blog, or
even
like a New York Times article. Like, they've really messed up too.
Yeah.
Go to the source, look at the actual research article, and don't think reading the abstract is reading the article, because it's not. You actually want to go and ask like, are these scientists actually rule everything out? Is there biased?
Who's it funded? Who's the study funded by? Yeah.
But actually see if the study's well done, because if people actually did that research, nutrition wouldn't be very confusing.
Yeah. Look at the sample size numbers. Look at the control variables. Look at the duration of the study. I mean, it's there's a lot of studies that show, like, oh, you cut some carbohydrates out of your diet, you're going to lose weight right off the bat, which, you know, you're probably going to lose weight right off the bat. There's a lot of water in carbohydrates, a lot of water weight you could lose initially, but long term, we're talking long term over years and years, you know, with concerns about coronary heart disease, stroke, obesity, type 2 diabetes. You know, it's diet is a long-term thing, and I think a lot of people who have criticized me, they're like, oh, Sage, you had a horrible year, like, you need to start eating more animal protein or whatever. You know, diet definitely plays a role in your running. It's not the end all. The number one thing that's going to play a role in your running performance is your actual physical training, as well as your genetics, gene response to that training. Diet and sleep and all those other things are kind of a close second or third, probably, but you know, there's a lot of guys out there, especially run D1 college in the US, sub 14-minute 5K runners. They eat like crap. I ate like crap in college. You could run fast off of eating a lot of really bad food, pizza every day, pretty much, pizza and Coke, or, you know, even, I don't know, donuts, things like that. So,
and I will say, there's studies out there that have actually compared diets, and if you look at the research study, you'll find that the people in the study, they were prescribed a certain diet. They didn't follow it at all, but they'll still say they compared diets and one of them won, even though none of the diets were actually really followed.
Yeah,
but anyway,
it's hard to control all those
we're getting
variables.
on a tangent.
We're going off on a tangent. This is not a nutrition podcast. This is about Sandy's great year. Other things, final words that you learned in training. Maybe the stout's kicking in a little. Final words that you learned about in training this year. So you had a great year. Or advice to people out there, people we coach, we've learned a lot from.
This is a loaded question, because I feel like there's a lot.
Yeah, well, if you just had to pick one point.
Can I pick two things?
Yeah, of course.
2 things I did this, maybe 3.
Okay, good.
I don't know.
We'll close it with this, though.
2, 2.5.
Yeah.
One thing I did was have a lot of patience, which was really hard. Because I wasn't able to start running consistently till spring. I went in my first races not running high mileage at all, and I just slowly progressed throughout the whole year, which is hard because I knew it's hard to run your best when I was running lower mileage, but I knew I had to have steady progress and not get injured. And so little camera glitch.
The SD card likes to stop around that time.
But anyway, I will say I truly enjoyed every single day of training, and I think being journey focused this year instead of outcome focused was really, really important. Just to go in.
Journey focused instead of
outcome focused.
Outcome. Okay.
Sorry, I don't know what I said.
No, that's what you said. I just wasn't listening
so
very well.
Journey focused instead of outcome focused, and it's funny how that works out because I loved every day, I raced better. And given it wasn't stellar, like I wasn't winning races left and right, but I know I wasn't the best short distance runner. This past year has been a challenge in focusing on shorter races, but I did way better than expected, and I think that's because I enjoyed it.
Yeah, you definitely took a couple steps forward in your fitness level and your running performance, because, I mean, we fast forward to last time you did North Face, you were, 10th, 11th place?
11th,
and it was more competitive this year, and you were really close 6th place, so.
Yeah.
And a lot faster of a time for 50 miles, so.
Yeah. Yeah, so I guess
definitely.
I'll stick with 2. But
Yeah, and competing with, women that have run 2:30, 2:40 in the marathon, in these trail marathon races, and bringing it up. So
yeah, and I feel
season.
like I have a lot to still improve on for next year.
Yeah,
I'm excited about
you're
that.
young. You haven't been running as long as I've been running, so the ceiling's there. But yeah, it's all about enjoying the process, getting out there, enjoying the mountains and the trails. Thanks so much for all your support.
Yeah, sorry, I hope I didn't bore anyone. I know it's more interesting to talk about you, but thank you for asking me about my season.
You had a good year. I think people could learn a lot from Coach Sandi here.
Thank you.
You've applied your methods and results work. It shows in our Sage Running athletes. Thanks to all the people that have supported us. Thanks to all the people that have bought training plans on sagerunning.com. And thanks to all the Patreon supporters, as well as just all the viewers here on YouTube, as well as people that tune into this podcast. It's been an amazing journey. We want to get the momentum going into 2017.
It's really
keep
been
it going.
Dream. Yeah.
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun to interact with you guys here, positive feedback, and
we hope to help.
We hope to improve
you guys out more. That's really why we do this. It's really a joy and a great honor. I think, and I truly mean that in both of our lives, to actually be able to help people and hear feedback saying I PR'd at a race, or I just feel so much healthier and so much stronger. That means the world to us hearing that. So thank you for everyone who reached out to us and saying that our advice helped. We really appreciate it.
I think about that a lot on my runs, the meaning of life, and just if you could have a positive influence on anyone out there in the world that carries forward, that's a real good way to find meaning in life. That's what I always think on
even
runs.
If it's running, it matters.
If you're helping someone reach a fitness goal, you're helping someone reach their, qualify for Boston or finish their first half marathon, or, get healthier and live a more prosperous life, that's a really meaningful endeavor. And I think the running community has shown that, it's been super supportive. The community has given me way more than I've given back. So I'm really thankful for that.
You do a lot more than people actually know, though.
I don't take that for granted every single day. So we've been very, very lucky to have the time and opportunity to train and do podcasts and videos like this. But it's all thanks to your support. So really, from the bottom of my heart, I wish you all the best in 2017. Thanks so much for tuning in. Is there anything else you want to add?
Thank you. And I hope you have a great 2017, and that we can hopefully be part of it in helping you reach your goals and dream big, work hard, listen to your body, and have a great season.
Yeah. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Thanks for watching, or thanks for tuning in, and I said tuning in. Now how am I supposed to say stay tuned? Thanks for watching, and stay tuned for more Sage Running podcasts.
Sure, you shouldn't edit that.
I'm not going to edit that.